Okay, welcome everyone. We have the fabulous Mary Esther Gilbert here with us tonight, and she is going to be going over one of our botanical plant DNA drops, HRT, which is short for heart, which is one of the amazing ones that help with healthy heart function. A little bit about Mary Esther before we get started, and then a little disclosure statement just to make sure that we know that everything we say here is professional views and opinions. Mary Esther wrote a 500-page product reference and nutritional health guide about our amazing products and did almost a year and a half of research that went into developing this book. So she definitely knows her stuff. She is a nutritional psychologist and a sports nutritionist. She has a bachelor's in nutritional science, a master's in holistic nutrition, and she's been in the field for over 40 years. Did I get that right, Mary Esther?
It's all right, except for I'm a nutritional physiologist.
Oh, physiologist.
If you
Okay.
want me to, listen to your problems, I will, but I'm not qualified for that. So I'm not a psychologist.
Well, I think anyone in the holistic or medical profession has a little side gig when it comes to listening to people's problems. Um,
Absolutely.
and of course, what we're going to be sharing here tonight is professional opinions and personal life experiences. We're not attempting to cure, prevent, or treat any diseases or conditions. And of course, always ask your physician for medical advice. With that said, I guess we could just take it away. I know,
Wonderful.
I believe some of the questions should be in order. I know one of the first things that a lot of people want to know about, especially because your heart and blood vessels play such an important role in our body, right, in our health. Um,
Yes.
First of all, what are the main functions of the circulatory system, and how does HRT help to keep it healthy?
Okay, great. Yeah, so if people underestimate the HRT product, we're going to fix that tonight. So basically, the heart and blood vessels really work together just to get nutrients distributed and oxygen throughout every single cell, our multiple trillions of cells in the body. So the circulatory system functions rely on the heart's rhythmic electrical pumping action. This is why the electrolytes in the product are so important, and the negatively charged ions, are so important, and why we need plant-derived minerals in the diet. We want enzyme active, light energy frequency active, and all of the atomic activity that's going on at the subatomic level where light energy frequencies are constantly moving. And so we need that kind of light energy in our cells as well. So we're such electrical, beings. So our heart is the central control of that, besides the brain, of course, but the heart pumps and propels the blood, and it's aided by the blood vessels, tiny little valves. We have little valves in the blood vessels, and as they contract and allow blood to go through and push it through along to keep it moving in one direction. So that's how we get all the nutrients and oxygen all throughout the whole entire body. And so it continuously delivers oxygen-rich blood and nutrients to the trillions of cells in the body. And this ensures that we stay alive and thrive, right? And utilize our nutrients and continue to produce energy. So the blood moves from the arteries, it gets oxygenated via the lungs to the capillaries for oxygen exchange, and then pulsed back to the veins and back to the lungs for more oxygen. So there's this pulsing action. And I'm going to share this document here so that we can get a picture of what I'm talking about. Okay, so I will enlarge this so we can see the diagrams better. So, I mean, we are constantly removing cellular waste and toxins out of the body via the eliminative organs, and it takes all of the system's blood vessels to move all of this along and out of the body through all the eliminative organs. So, as you can see here, if you can see my mouth pointing, we take in air through the lungs, it goes through the pulmonary vein, and you can see the diagram here. I love the heart diagrams, it's so cool. You can kind of pretend like you're pulsing the blood through and just like whoosh, I used to do that in college just so I could keep it straight. But yeah, it goes through the the pulmonary veins down through the left atrium, and it opens up this bicuspid valve, and it goes down into the left ventricle, and it goes to another valve up here to the aortic seminar valve, right? And it goes through down to the aorta, down to the body tissues. As you can see, this goes all the way throughout the whole entire body through this major blood vessel here. And when it starts oxygenating and we start spending the oxygen, then it has to return the blood so that we can, with our next breath, reoxygenate. So when you see the blue in diagrams, and you can even look at your veins, they're blue. So that means that it's oxygen poor. So then it starts the whole cycle all over again. So it goes off to the other side of the heart, and you get it through the vena cava, which is the
Mhm.
major vein. Then it goes through the atrium, the right ventricle, and these valves are opening and closing like the other side. Then it goes out to the pulmonary arteries back toward the lungs. So, it's really fun to imagine how the blood's pulsing through the heart and what it takes to make it continue to thrive like that. We just have to keep it going. So anyway, the botanicals in the heart contain the nutrient factors that help maintain the heart tissues and all of their cellular functions. So they help maintain the structure and the pliancy and the strength of the blood vessels and the veins and the capillary wall structures. So we don't want those to become fragile and start getting damaged. And also, with the HRT and especially the hawthorn berry, it allows the body to have more endurance, so we can have a greater exercise workload and lung capacity. So the HRT contains the botanicals, which we'll go over, of course, and it'll explain all of that. And this is just another diagram of pretty much the same thing, but in this diagram, it shows you the lungs, and then it gives you a really small rendition of all the body's capillaries and blood vessels as it goes back to the lungs. So it circulates constantly like that. So I just love to show pictures. That pictures worth 1,000 words, right, Tina?
Yeah, I agree. Like visual is where you really start to really understand it. And being in the medical field myself, I actually look at blood vessels all day long. So I see the blood, the deoxygenated and the oxygenated blood, and how it's such a crucial role in our body, especially just blood in general as the function, which actually leads to our next question. How does HRT help with blood-related symptoms and blood levels? We hear a lot of talk about people who have symptoms related to anemia or blood clotting disorders. Can you speak more about how this would help with those
Yes.
symptoms?
Yeah, and as we get over to where we talk about each individual botanical, then you'll be able to see more of what I summarized here to answer your question. So it just basically, these botanicals have all those phytochemical compounds that I'm always talking about to improve the cholesterol ratios, the reducing the low density lipoproteins, which aren't very heavy molecularly, so they can't really sweep out the debris out of the blood vessels, and they have their role, but the high density lipoproteins are much better at cleaning out the blood vessels. So that's why we want, when we measure our cholesterol, which is one of the major constituents of what our cells are constructed of. So cholesterol isn't the bad guy. It's when you have it combined with other fats, the wrong types of fats, that it starts thickening the blood and slowing things down. So the cholesterol is very, very important. Our body produces cholesterol as needed. So as long as we keep it in balance, with the other food groups, it should be fine. And especially if we exercise, that really just alleviates so many other issues and balances that out. So anyhow, the botanicals in the HRT will help improve those ratios. And it's been shown to, the botanicals, that is, of course, we're not going to make claims about the product. We can show that it improves fatigue and breathing problems related to like reduced circulation, people who don't exercise or are poorly nourished, and they just have poor oxygenation and nutrient delivery to all the body systems. And there's a lot of anti-inflammatory proteins, in the products that normally would damage the blood vessels. And here's a picture of a damaged blood vessel, not necessarily damaged, but a clogged blood vessel. Up here, it shows the progression of heart disease. And so the blood vessel is becoming more and more clogged, and in so doing, it's damaging the structure of the blood vessel. So as you can see, it's becoming more and more narrowed, and then it won't allow anything to flow through.
Yes,
Alrighty.
I love that. And I actually, your level of blood flow that you're getting through those arteries, especially when you're getting that narrowing or stenosis that you're talking about.
Mhm.
It's crucial to the oxygenation that you were talking about as well. I actually started taking this product more when I started to realize how much it helps with my circulation when it comes to exercise. I
Yes.
feel an immediate, um, I guess you want to say, boost of oxygenation that goes through my body, especially when I'm working out, um, doing cardio, things like that. So it's definitely become one of my dailies, and a great one that I add as a pre-workout, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, exercise does so many things because the body's very adaptive. So you stimulate it with exercise, and then it responds by creating stronger and more flexible blood vessels to handle the increased blood flow and the blood pressure, that kind of thing. But then it does a lot of other major wonderful things too. So yeah, it's just exercise has to be in the mix. You can't just be well nourished and expect your body to be in optimal condition. So yeah, I mean, the synthetic, excuse me, the phytonutrients in the botanicals will neutralize synthetic toxins in the circulatory system and helps eliminate them out of the body. So molecularly binding to these synthetics, because they're so similar to a lot of the fatty acids, they will bind to them and help them eliminate them. And a lot of the compounds in the phytonutrient compounds in the plants will also they also have that property and that attribute. So that's a great way to help the body eliminate all of these accumulation of toxins. And these
Right.
are the 5 different eliminative organs: the lungs and the lymph vessels and the lymph nodes, and the kidneys, the bowel, and the skin.
Yeah. And every organ that we have in our body relies on blood flow and circulation. So this is truly one that targets everything in our body. Do you believe that's the case?
Yes, every single organ has its own set of blood vessels. Of course, the whole network of blood vessels are joined together, and they end up, in the from the larger blood vessels down to the smallest capillaries, and that's where really the oxygen takes place. And so once that is spent, then it has to go back and pulse back up to the heart so that the lungs that's connected to the heart can once again oxygenate and deliver the nutrients. That circulation is where all the cell receptor sites are located, and so it has all these nutrients have to enter those cell membranes. So the only way to get these nutrients to every single cell in the body is through the circulatory system. Did we lose Tina? Looks like we lost Tina. Well, I can go on to the third one if everyone's okay with that, and I'm sure she'll come
And
back on shortly.
yeah, I'm
There you
back now.
are.
I don't know if
Yay.
that was on my end or not, but I got right back on.
Okay, great.
Um,
And you're off out again. It happens, right? All these things happen a lot. Anyhow, we'll
yeah,
just keep going. Oh, there she
yeah.
is. Okay.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Heart disease is on the rise. It's definitely something we're all super concerned about. How does the nutrition, especially in these products, correlate with the factors that could help, which HRT could help with?
Okay. This is going to be a little bit longer of a section because it's great. I mean, yes, heart disease is on the rise, and we're beginning to get the idea as to the causes, poor nutrition, lack of exercise, lack of oxygen, damaged DNA at the microcell level. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and get into this. So, dietary nutrient deficiencies, like I just said, and those missing critical phytonutrient compounds in the plants, they play such a great role in helping these body systems and prevent a lot of these degenerative disease processes. So these botanicals contain the essential omega-3 fatty acids, and because those are very important for maintaining cell structures and maintaining the proper amounts of cholesterol, reducing inflammation. They work with the immune system, just the hormonal system. They they're the coatings of the nerve cells in the nervous system and the brain. The brain matter has the fats too in there, so we need the protection factors with those types of fats. So the opposite of that, though, are the damaged fats or the altered plant fats. They become like plastics. And if you look at say, omega-3 healthy fat, it's going to be in like a convoluted looking kind of molecule. But when you heat an oil at high temperatures, it becomes that plastic, and it's no longer absorbable. So we've got this long straight chain, which is what you can identify as being a trans fat. And those are the ones that cannot be broken down. We don't have the enzymes to break down. They are broken down to a point, but so these little particles are just going along throughout the blood system, the network of blood, and it forms the hardened plaques. So that's what the real culprit is in heart disease, is those hardened plaques from the wrong types of fats. And they not only clog the blood vessels, they clog all the other circulatory systems too. People with swollen lymph nodes, just skin problems, because skin is one of the eliminative organs, and things get clogged up on the skin. So anytime someone has a certain kind of health issue, I know right away that they've been eating the wrong fats. And even if they say, well, I only eat them occasionally, well, over a long period of time, even eating them occasionally is going to accumulate in the blood system, especially those small capillaries. Okay. So, and also the hydrogenated fats, those are the margarine and the shortenings. That's where they take the plant oils and they subject them in a chamber to the hydrogen atoms, which you add more hydrogen to an oil, is going to solidify it. So that's why they're so hard on the blood vessels as well. We just don't have the wherewithal to digest those kinds of fats. And then if you heat oils, frying them, even sauteing them for a short period of time, general cooking with any oils, when we want to put oil in an Italian dish when you're cooking it or whatever, or using oils in baked goods, then those oils will start to solidify too, even if they have a high heating point, like avocado oil or grapeseed oil or olive oil. Those oils are still starting to become trans fats over the cooking period. So try to stay away from those as much as possible, especially the desserts and the sweets that have the margarine and shortenings. So then we have people are missing dietary enzymes. They don't eat enough raw, fresh, unaltered plant foods in their diet. Like I always say, 50 to 75% of the diet should be raw, enzyme active, like energy frequency active foods, so that our bodies have a chance to form the enzymes that we need to keep us alive. Enzymes are the catalysts for all cellular processes in the body. We also need to have active vitamin complexes, not just isolated B vitamins in a supplement, unless it's a whole food supplement. So we have to have whole entire complexes of each B vitamin in the plant, from the plant. So that's the only way the body knows how to use these molecules in order to be most effective. For the nervous system, vitamins are used in just about everything. They're coenzymes. So they get together with the enzymes and they complete, all of the biochemical and biological processes in the body. Same thing with the minerals. We can't have isolated minerals that aren't in the whole food complexes, because you might as well grind up some rocks and try to eat them. That's not going to work. We need those negatively charged particles at that submolecular and subatomic level. And also, we need to make sure that we are eating these plant compounds that are in the drops, critical cleansing, detoxifying, repairing the DNA. These compounds are constantly going throughout the whole entire body, and the immune system, the hormonal system, all the body systems completely recognize these molecules to do the repair work, to work with the body to reduce inflammation, all these different functions that the cells need to do all the time to stay well. So the plant chemicals are so important to aid that. And then we've got people who don't take enough of the whole raw foods. Like I said, we need those energy active plant materials. And with the drops, with their plant cell components, the mitochondria, the energy producing factories, the protein producing factories, everything that a living cell does for itself as a plant, we are so compatible with them that they're readily utilizable in our own cells. All right, so then we have the second part of answering that question is we have to be aware of how plants absorb sunlight and store it. They either store it as sunlight ready to use for energy, or they convert it to carbohydrates or fats. So, when you have a living raw enzyme active plant, you're actually absorbing not just the nutrients, but absorbing that light energy. So we are energy beings. We are light energy frequency beings. And I love Dr. Fritz Albert Popp, which I've mentioned before. He's done extensive amounts of work on proving that the body is really an electrical system, based on the light energy frequencies that we absorb, either through the sunlight or through our foods. So anyhow, just pulled out a couple of quotes from these reference sources, and I really hope people go and check out these reference sources. They're fascinating. We don't have enough time to cover everything that these articles do, but they talk about photo repair, how the body needs light to actually repair itself. And so a lot of the science has shown that this is not something that anybody can dispute anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely fascinating when you get into the deep science of plants and their energy and what our cells can read and the work it can do when given the right nutrients and the right delivery system like we have here. I'm glad that you mentioned nutrition because a lot of people, like you said, even with the hardening of the arteries, it takes many, many years of damage of people who have, consumed too much fat or whatever it is, or genetics play a role as well, thinking that this product is going to work immediately, but it's something that takes a lot of time when it comes to nutrients and repairing some of those symptoms and things that we have going on in the heart and circulatory system. So that was definitely
Yes.
much needed. We also have to take responsibility for our own nutrition.
Exactly, which is why I'm constantly talking about it, and that's why I wrote the book for everybody. And
Yeah.
once you go into the books that I've written, you'll become your own, true health mastery expert. So, understanding what goes on at the micro level really helps the compliance rate. I would get clients and I was like their last resort and they didn't know what else to do. So I just taught them about their body and about the nutrients and what the nutrients do in their body. And they would get upset. Why didn't my doctor tell me this? Well, they don't get this information. They're not trained in that way.
Yeah.
But only nutrients will heal the body. Nothing else will, you know.
Love it. And we have such a great products here. So I think our next question is, and you probably already answered this in up above, but do the ingredients in HRT support the restoration of heart muscle? And how would that help with the natural rhythm of the heart?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. We kind of did so far, but I want to show us the chart that I devised so that everybody can see what each botanical does for this very thing. So, like I said, it's got to be enzyme active, and I wanted to make that point up here. I just put that in there as the last bullet point up here. The APL drops are the only supplement in the world which technology retains the enzymes, the active electrolytes, and their movement of electrons, or those negatively charged ions that our cells are looking for in order to complete their tasks, and therefore it's DNA repairing light energy, and the science is very well cited here in this document. So yeah, that's one of the things we have. The only way to restore the heart muscle is, of course, nourishment and hydration and rest and managing stress so that those inflammatory proteins the body produces under stress conditions won't damage the blood vessels or the heart muscle or any other cell in the body. So we have to keep in mind that all of these botanicals and all the viable nutrients in the drops are going to help restore the heart muscle. The gathering of the botanical ingredients in this HRT is brilliant. They've really done their homework and they put together the best botanicals that have been shown, the irrefutable scientific evidence that has been showing this over a period of time, how they help maintain that heart muscle and protect it. And yeah, the natural rhythm of the heart, it has to do with the electrical system. And that means the right minerals, the right vitamins, the right phytonutrients, and the light energy frequencies.
Yes. Wow. I mean, just learning about these products every month with you is it's just incredible validation of what we
Yes.
truly have over here. So, do the ingredients of HRT support the integrity of the blood vessels for better circulation? Which, again, I feel like we've already went over that. But I know a lot of
It's
people want to talk about improving the systolic and diastolic numbers, which are basically related to our blood pressure. How
yes.
would this product maybe relate to that issue?
Okay, yeah. So we're talking about now about I don't think it's very redundant at all. So we're talking about the function of the blood vessels, okay, and how they circulate those nutrients throughout the system. I did talk about how the blood vessels have the little microscopic, little valves that open and close to push the blood along throughout the body. But a lot of these have been shown to improve the rhythm and the strength of the heart contractions. And so it will improve the integrity of the cells and tissues of the heart so it can handle that kind of strength of contraction. So exercise also helps improve the strength of your contractions as well. But if you're not well nourished, then exercise will just keep wearing you down. You could feel terrible and not be able to recuperate from it if you're not consistently nourished. So the heart and the kidneys work together to maintain that blood pressure. So before we were talking about the lungs delivering the oxygen throughout the system, but now let's focus on how the heart and the kidneys work together because the kidneys are very important for maintaining the proper blood pressure. And of course, the mineral balance and all of that. But those heart contractions, they're the ones that force the pressure of the blood through that whole circulatory system. And the kidneys need that force so that they can move those fluids and solutes through all their filtration systems. I should have included a kidney diagram, but I think we've already covered that before. So just go back and look at the other videos. But yeah, the kidneys have their own filtration system. It's really amazing.
Yes.
So anyhow, so we're going to be, making sure that we clean those blood vessels to keep those nutrients flowing, and every cell is nourished so that it can function properly. And also dietary protein. If a person is not taking in enough of those 9 essential amino acids that are always perfectly in balance in animal-derived food sources, then the kidneys are going to have a heck of a time trying to maintain the blood pressure. So any kind of protein deficiency over time especially can result in all this excess and improper water retention, like the spaces between the cells. Our cells need water to come in and leave the cell continuously flowing like the ebb and flow of the ocean, kind of thing, with bringing in all the minerals and eliminating the waste. And so exiting the cells and all that, that's always going on in our cells. So we need the water to do that. We need the proper balance of water inside the cells versus outside of the cells, which are called the interstitial spaces between the cells and the body tissues. So that has to be considered. People who aren't eating consistently enough of the protein, and I'm not saying only eat protein. Of course, we know that by now. You have to have a balanced diet, raw foods, the plant kingdom, and the animal-derived protein. So when you balance those two, you'll have great water balance. You won't have to worry about the edema that forms, like in this photograph over here on the left. I don't know if you've ever seen someone with swollen feet, but if you were to depress your finger on, any part of a swollen area on the body like that, the depression just stays there. So that means that those fluids are not being moved. And
Mhm.
so that's why it's very important to maintain this balance. And so they show, how you can show to what extent a person's retaining water. But on this one, it shows how when the blood vessel is damaged, then it cannot continue the right direction of blood flow. And that can not only cause all kinds of swelling, but it can also do a lot of damage and cause a stroke or heart attack, depending on how 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 terrible the damage is. But as far as this goes, when you asked about the blood pressure, everyone should know that a normal blood pressure is 120/80. So just systemic and diastolic, and the difference between those numbers determines how well your blood pressure is functioning. So then if you have an imbalanced amount of fluids and inadequate protein intake, then you're going to have problems and your blood pressure is going to be elevated. The minerals and the vitamins play an extremely important role as well, and the phytonutrients. Those are extremely important for that.
Mm. I'm so glad you actually brought up the kidneys. I was hoping you would say something about that because I don't think a lot of people realize how big of a role our kidneys and the kidney circulation and hydration plays
Yes,
such a
I'm
big
gonna.
role with their blood pressure.
Yeah. All right, let's bring up the kidneys then. I don't know if this is violating any copyright, but this is for educational purposes. Oh, it's good. It's Wiki. They let us do that. I always get pictures from Wiki. Okay, so I mean, look, this isn't quite just detailed enough, but it gives you an idea that the kidneys sit pretty high up, but they do have their own, of course, blood system coming into the kidney to nourish the kidneys. But there's also an extensive network of pathways in here. I'm going to grab another one just to show because we've got to see this. You guys have got to see. If you haven't already, I know you have, Tina, but a
Yeah.
lot of people haven't. So I just want to get a blow up of what goes on in there. Just so I'm looking for a certain kind of picture so people can really see what that entails. This might have something.
Yes, the main
Oh,
aorta.
yeah, I mean, I want to show a blow up. Oops, what's this? I want to show a blow up of what this is, and I can't find one immediately. Oops. No, I don't want to book anything. Let me see your picture. Okay, here we go. Yeah, see, you can't see it very well, but if you were to blow all these up, you would see how intricate these pathways are. And this is just the filtration system, the
Yes.
extent to which our body goes to filter out all of the toxins, the things that the body doesn't need, what it can filter out through the kidneys. That is, the rest of it goes through all the other eliminated organs, especially the bowels. But yeah, the kidneys, you have to be careful with your kidneys because anything can get clogged up here. People can get really painful, calcium stones, and
Yeah.
uh, you don't want to irritate your kidneys. So take
Yeah.
good care of your kidneys. Drink plenty of purified spring water and a lot of high water content foods.
Yeah. So be kind to your kidneys, and that will also be kind to your heart, indirectly. And the hydration, I love that you also brought that up because it's a key to circulation and blood. And even with our product, I always make sure that people are drinking enough water because that's key to getting the nutrients circulated to where it needs to go. Um,
Yes. And also, when you take in sugar, even if it's small amounts like what's in the drops, any kind of food and carbohydrate is going to thicken the blood and it's going to create more friction. So if you don't drink enough water, your heart will have a problem pushing through the blood if it gets too thickened. Okay, so it has to maintain a certain viscosity, a certain consistency in order to move through and smoothly deliver all the nutrients and oxygen and do the detoxification processes. The kidneys are one of the major detoxification organs. So staying hydrated is extremely important. We have to maintain that balance inside and outside of the cells and move it through the interstitial tissues and all of that.
mm. Yeah, and one thing that I see in my profession is all the lymphedema, the swelling, the poor circulation with the even people that have symptoms with diabetes and other cardiovascular related processes. And so I've seen some tremendous relief, I guess you want to say, with HRT when it comes to, that swelling, the circulation, and definitely nutrition does play a huge role there. Um,
Absolutely.
well, I think we have a little time. So is there a couple of the key botanicals that are in HRT that maybe help with other functions and symptoms in the body besides the heart or the circulatory system?
Yeah, let's go over those. So you can, of course, download this PDF from my website. I hope everyone knows by now to go to holisticchoices.com/APL and you'll see this right after the call. I'll post it. But you can download all the PDFs from all of our Zoom calls there. But yeah, this chart is really handy. It's a fast way to glance at it if you don't have the book. The book is much more comprehensive and much more detailed, much better education if you really want to be the expert. But yeah, this is that so you can go over that. And I like to throw in a couple of other scientific research, things that back me up. And I always use my own book as a reference source as well. And you know how long I put all that effort into developing
Yeah.
that book for everyone. Okay, so anyhow, yeah, I just picked a few. I just had to pick a few out of the book. I would end up writing the whole book if I put them all here. So these are each one of the ingredients, right? And they address these body systems. And so particularly, there's the phytonutrient compounds that will normalize estrogen levels. and improve liver function. And also in the nervous system, they've been known to prevent the deterioration of the nervous system, so you can prevent things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. There's many other factors, of course, that one has to consider that lead to these conditions, but the grapeseed is very well researched and well presented in the scientific literature to show all of these extra perks here. And then the hawthorn flower, it increases exercise tolerance and increased muscle workload. That's always great for people who want to work out. It protects the heart. It's well known for how it improves the heart. It improves nerve function. And of course, all these botanicals and all of the drops are great antimicrobials, antibacterial, antiviral, that kind of thing. And then the mistletoe, which surprised me when I was researching it, it prevents convulsions and muscular spasms. So if anybody feels that spasm that happens in the eye or any other part of the body, then it's just a matter of making sure that the circulatory system is allowing the proper contractions or relaxations of the muscles, right? So, but for it to prevent convulsions, that's pretty spectacular. I saw that and I thought that was amazing. And of course, these plants are also anti-inflammatory, but this particular one has been tested to reduce joint inflammation because these nutrient factors, they repair the problem so that you don't have inflammatory responses. You don't have pain anymore. Once the problem is alleviated, then there's no reason for the body to alert you to anything like pain. Thyroid function, which is very important, and prevents the spread of cancer. So these nutrient compounds and these botanicals are well researched for just about every type of cancer or abnormal growth, when cells stop reproducing incorrectly. Usually the immune system is quick to identify it and, immediately destroy before it becomes a problem. But sometimes the immune system is not on top of things, and that's usually because the person is not well nourished. This happens over time. The body starts deteriorating and losing its resources. It does the best that it can to prevent a lot of these problems, but if you continue to become more and more degenerated nutritionally, then it's going to succumb to a lot of these problems. So the pomegranate, it's great for circulation, and it improves the oxygen carrying protein called hemoglobin. And so it will alleviate things like anemia. So if a person is not eating enough of the animal-derived proteins, which contain the best form of absorbable iron, then they will become somewhat anemic, over time. So it's very important for that. Strength and endurance, that's so important to keep up your hemoglobin levels. And the immune system, of course, is antimicrobial, and they protect against the DNA damage. And the antioxidant is such a huge umbrella of a term for, as hundreds of those phytonutrients in these botanicals. Helps with memory dysfunction. It tells you that it has the fatty acids and it has the phytonutrients that address the problems in the nervous system, nerve cell structure, things like that. And then the raspberry, it's very good for the immune system. It helps stop bleeding. If a person's blood is too thin, if they're anemic and they get injured and their body doesn't have enough protein, then they're not going to be able to create the proteins that stop the bleeding. So the raspberry has those kinds of functions that actually do help with that problem. It helps halt the forming of the hardened plaques in the arteries, atherosclerosis, and it helps halt the progression of cancer. Hormonal system, it helps regulate the pancreatic functions for maintaining the blood glucose levels, and the nervous system, age-related reduced cognition and decline in the motor functioning, right? And then the strawberry, these are such awesome berries. I love the berries. They're so amazing. They're great for the immune system, the hormonal system, the cardiovascular, and the nervous system. So they've got all these protections in place. And all we have to do is eat right. It's easy on our part. Our body knows what to do, it does the rest.
Yeah. And I love this list. One of the ones that I love in particular, if I might mention, is the white mistletoe. It is such an amazing botanical, and it's only found in HRT, which is interesting, but I know they're even doing some incredible studies on that through the medical community, even at Johns Hopkins and some other research. So just having it in this product speaks volumes of, you know.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, somebody did their homework when they put together these formulations. And this is the book that I revised after it used to be called the APL Product and Nutritional Health Guide. And we had to pull out all of the names of the products and all of the references to the company because the FDA came in and was saying, oh, you can't do that. And my position was, well, it's completely FDA compliant. I should know. I've dealt with the FDA for 45 years.
Right.
And, I've helped another company to design their product labeling and in accordance with the FDA, so don't tell me it's not compliant. But I went ahead and said, okay, I'll rewrite the book. And it has all the botanicals and everything the other book had. It just doesn't mention the products, unfortunately. But it's serving people well. People are loving it. I put in I added 60 more botanicals in it so that the FDA couldn't say, well, that's the same book. No, it's not. It's my book. I wrote it for my friends and APL kind of thing. So yeah, there's not. I haven't heard a peep from. We haven't heard anything from the FDA since. So yeah, you're safe to look through it, and it has over. I don't know. I'm sure it's close to 2,000 scientific citations, and
Yeah.
references that will show people the extent to which that you just mentioned. There's enough of those scientific references that it's pretty irrefutable what these botanicals do.
Yeah, I love all the research, the studies, the medical journals, all the things you did over the last, I mean, it takes time. And you have
Yes.
it really all here in these amazing books and PDFs that you've provided for us. And if someone did want to purchase or look into some of your books, I know you have your holisticchoices.com. Is there anywhere
Mhm.
else people could, get those from?
Um, you can go to Amazon directly, but I am an Amazon affiliate and I want people to explore my website, especially when I open up this membership area for the True Health Mastery Institute I'm working on right now. I had to change venues and I learned the other platform, but now I was unsatisfied with it. They said, oh yeah, you can start a membership with that platform, and you can't. It's only for teachers to post their courses, very limited from what I want to do. But so yeah, if you go to holisticchoice.com, books by Mary Esther Gilbert, just go to holisticchoices.com and you'll see all the tabs there. But yeah, just go there and then you can pick out whatever book. And I like to describe what each book is about, kind of thing, before people can buy. And of course Amazon has the authors write up very detailed introduction to their books as well. So I mean, you can go to my website and click on the Amazon. This is the hard cover and this is the ebook, and just click on it, and it'll just it'll tell you a lot more about the book and whatnot. And I've also on my YouTube channel have really just talked about the books so that people can like an inside look into the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can go to there, and if you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe, because we need to pass the word on about these
Yes.
amazing botanicals. I thought I saw Ruth on here. She said she was going to be moving tonight, but I thought I saw her face. Am I seeing things? Hi, Ruth.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so yeah, this is where I talk about the books here, and there's another one somewhere in there where I talk about the True Health, excuse me, the book that I just showed you. Yeah, and then I went over at least 10 of the botanicals in the book, and you can tell that there's quite extensive monographs in the book that I gleaned from for these calls. So yeah, if you're interested in really becoming truly knowledgeable about what it takes and how you can, I think we're helping sales too for APL and people's, APL businesses, right? So I think
Right.
it's a good thing for everyone.
Yeah. There definitely is curiosity, and innovation is always evolving. So we do definitely have a really unique product, and people like you, Mary Esther, that can just validate what we have here is such a huge thing for us over here. And I even forgot to introduce myself. I just always assume people know who I am. So if you are new to the call, I'm Tina D'Angelo. I'm a corporate director here, and I do have a medical background. So that's why, Mary Esther and I can chat a little bit back and forth about some of these amazing botanicals and organ systems and how they work inside the body. Thank you so much. I think we actually have a few minutes. Would you mind taking some questions? I know some people had some things in the chat.
Love the questions. Please ask
Okay.
away.
I'm going to look over here just to keep it congruent. So it looks like somebody had, Nancy had wanted to address vision circulation when it comes to the eyes and how maybe this product could maybe help with that.
Absolutely. So it addresses the microcirculatory system, and our eyes are all about the microcapillaries that we have in there. So our circulation has to be optimal in order to reach those little blood vessels in there. So yeah, I mean, the HRT would be perfect for that. And of course, all the dietary things that I pointed out.
Yeah, I agree. And eyes are just another organ, right? Which needs circulation as well.
Yeah, it's part of the nervous system, in the
Yeah.
brain.
And then I guess somebody had asked, and I'm not sure if we can answer this, but are these safe to take while you're going through maybe some cancer treatments or medications or anything like that?
Yes. You don't want to take a synthetic vitamin mineral supplement because that feeds the cancer cells. They grow. So you want a whole food complex supplement and something that's enzyme active. So and full of the phytonutrients. So we've got the DNA of these plants, the instructions that direct all of these different growth and development and defense systems of the plant. And we are so compatible with those plants. That's exactly how our bodies utilize them. So we've got DNA repairing, a supplement that will battle the damages done through the treatments, through the cancer treatments.
Mm, thank you. And I think a lot of people, especially the general public, don't realize that those minerals and vitamins they buy on the shelf are all synthetically made in a lab versus what nature can give us, which is through our own food source and a product like this, which you 100%
Yeah.
validate on that end.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so when you buy a synthetic vitamin, scientists used to always say, "Oh, it's the same thing as the natural form." But if you were to look at it, like say the schematic of the synthetic vitamin, you would see like a two-dimensional, rendition of the vitamin, which is not far away from the synthetic version because it has hardly any of the holographic, multi-dimensional aspects of a living plant. So, you don't want to buy something that's only partial or is kind of foreign to the body. Where are the atomic structures? Where are the negatively charged ions? Where are the light energy frequencies? So if you were to see that molecule, it would be like this, right? Whereas
Mhm.
you're looking at a flat schematic, that's pretty close to what the synthetics look like because they
Yeah,
have hardly any of those whole molecular components of a whole food.
yeah, exactly. And that's where knowledge becomes powerful, right?
Yes.
And so somebody had asked, obviously, can you take this product if you have like a kidney disease or anything else maybe going on in the body?
Well, you have to consider if you have kidney disease, how much fluids you're taking in, especially if you're on dialysis. The body can only handle so much water until your next session. So you want to talk to your dialysis experts. They probably won't know, but you do have to approach everything very cautiously and just monitor how much water you're taking in. What are your the solutes your body's going to filter out? Your kidneys have to filter out what's left of your food and the water that's in the food, kind of thing. So all these things are going to have to be being filtered out. So you don't want to overwhelm the body, but one drop a day, especially with some of the drops where they have the botanicals that have been shown to improve kidney function. And I can do a quick search on my document right now, but it would take a little while. But if you want to know that answer, I can further, give you some more details on that. And I can even add it to today's document just as a note. And then when people download the PDF, they'll get that answer.
That would be amazing if you could add that. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Last couple of questions, and then we'll end the call. So, Valerie and Joby want to know, would HRT help with iron deficiency? And then, of course, is it a good one for bone density as well?
Okay. Again, we need the right form of plant-derived minerals, and the APL drops, they probably do contain a lot of these minerals in them because they take them from the plant materials. They don't take anything out of the plant materials during the manufacturing process. So even though they cannot list them on the boxes because the FDA requires that there should be a certain amount of milligrams on these boxes, right? These labels. And since they're probably a lot less, that's not what the drops do. They repair DNA, and those phytonutrients that are in there, those are even smaller than, the plant materials. They're in the plant materials themselves. So you are dealing with very minute nutrition that, of course, our cells are even more minute. So it fits right through the cell membrane just fine. They're very compatible that way, and we can utilize those molecules. So if you don't want to be iron deficient, make sure your diet has the animal-derived proteins. That's the best, most absorbable form of iron because the animal blood is just like ours. It's almost identical to ours. It's so compatible. There's plant iron, but that's not as absorbable or utilizable as the animal-derived iron. Okay, so blood on blood kind of thing. It sounds gross, and I wish we didn't have to eat the animals. I appreciate them. I'm like a Native American. Oh, thank you so much for giving up your life for me. I'm serious. I really do appreciate them, and I hope that by eating the those that are treated humanely, they lead happy lives, and they don't know what hits them when it's their time to go. Right? I'm so grateful for that, and I wish we didn't have to. But the science is very, very clear on us needing all of those amino acids and the iron and other types of minerals that are present in their systems. So if you don't want to be iron deficient or calcium deficient, um, calcium is better absorbed through vitamin C, and iron is better absorbed with vitamin C. But if you try to take iron and calcium as a supplement, your body is going to there's going to be a competition on the cell receptor site as to which one it'll use. It's not like it's going to be a problem though, because your body will halt and do a process and then turn around and use the other one for the other processes that it needs. But as far as a whole food complex supplement, then the drops, you can't go wrong. It's not like they don't have iron or calcium in them, but um, they're not going to be as good as a whole food will be for that particular problem.
Mm. Thank you. And thank you so much for this amazing interview and your time tonight, Mary Esther.
My
I'm just
pleasure.
gonna, of course, I'm gonna just leave it with, I know some people, we always love to do our product of the month when we do these amazing interviews with you. I know we have another promotion running right now with the 12 Days of Christmas that will be ending tomorrow. So if you're watching the recording, or want to know more, we will be kicking off our buy two, get two on the HRT starting on Wednesday. So I know some people are curious about that. And then we run that for a week. So it's a great time to try the product, stock up on the product, maybe incorporate it as one of your dailies because it's a daily for me. I won't go a day without my HRT. So just look forward to that in the next couple of days. And thank you. Thank you for this amazing interview. And I hope everyone has an amazing rest of their evening.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's my pleasure to always get this information to you all. And I know you're great satellites. You're so sharp and you just take this information. I know you're sharing it everywhere. And this is dear to my heart. So thank you for letting me do this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina.